Hello, I'm Michael Redmond, professional Go player. In this video, I'm going to talk about the Go proverb, crosscut and then extend. Or you can say, extend from the crosscut. So it's this position we have on the board, which is an example of the shape we call the crosscut. And I'm going to say you should extend from the weaker stone. So in this case, it's that black stone on the third line that looks like it's weaker, in more danger of being captured. So I'm going to say black should extend here. So first of all, just up front, I want to talk about why I'm advising this and why I'm doing this video at all. Because actually, if you look at strong players' games, professional games, you will see them playing all sorts of moves. So it's not as if they play this move every time. In fact, you can find a number of games, maybe a majority of the games, where they're playing some other move. And so why do I consider this important? I'd say that if you're a beginner or a Q player, even a single-digit Q player, the first thing you need to know about this position is how to win the local fight. And just going back one move here, this crosscut position, for just having 4 stones on the board, it's probably the most complicated position you can get. So we're crosscut here, all of the stones are disconnected from each other, and any one of these 4 stones can die. In fact, it's probably certain that one of these 4 stones is going to die. And if we look at it, one of these stones on the third line, it's acceptable that they might die. It's probably bad for this stone on the fourth line to die. But there's a whole bunch of variations where one of those 3 stones on the third line can die. And so it's important to know how to win the local fight. And this is a very straightforward variation that will show you how black can win the local fight. And so in order to do so, it's very important to start by reinforcing your weaker stone by extending from it. So let's do a diagram for a mistake for black. The worst scenario for black is if that stone towards the center is captured. So let's do it that way. Black plays an Atari, black plays another Atari from underneath. When you play Ataris like this from the crosscut position, you tend to strengthen your opponent's stone. So both of these groups of 2 white stones, they have both been extended or strengthened by black forcing white to extend from Atari. And black still has a lot of cutting points. So black would usually add a stone to that. And this is actually very similar to an example of the net. And I did a video about the net for beginners. So if you're interested in comparing, I will put a link in the description. So white can capture in a net here. Allowing white to capture towards the center of the board like this, it's going to be bad for black. So this is an example of what not to do. When black extends here, strengthening the weaker stone. So now this black stone, it has a lot of liberties, the group of 2 stones that is, and it's a strong group. It's also, by creating a strong position there, black has made a wall of stones which will capture one of the 2 white stones. So it's fairly straightforward from here. If white pulls out with the stone on the right, black can play an Atari from the center and chase white to the edge of the board. This captures the 2 white stones. So this would be good for black, capturing the white stones on the top. Going back to this position, if white pulls out on this side, black can capture the other white stone like this. So it's very easy. This is actually probably white's best variation. And white will probably continue with some kind of a move towards the upper side. I would suggest white plays a 3-space extension. So this would be a relatively even result. And it's also an example of how a strong player would then start to think about positional things. So maybe black actually wanted to dominate the upper side or maybe the center and stuff like that. And that would change how a strong player would play this. But I would repeat that for most players, it's going to be important to at least know how you can win the local fight. If you want to think beyond that, you can start with this and then compare this with other diagrams that you want to think about and see which is better for you. Because this is a very straightforward win for black locally. It's the way to win the local fight. This is also a very common shape in which there's going to be a crosscut in the corner. So white does have various moves here, such as an invasion in the through 3-point. but it's also a valid move for white to be attaching here and playing a crosscut. So again, this is a shape where if you look at strong players' games, you will see them playing various moves. But one surefire way of winning this fight is to extend from a weak stone. So in this case, black has an extra stone. I'm talking about this one, an extra stone in the vicinity. And we'll try an extension on the fourth line. So this is actually the joseki. And the stone at the 3-3 point is actually going to be okay in this case. Just to check that, let's have white chase from this side once. And black extends. And already white's in big trouble here, because black can capture one or the other of the two cutting white stones. So if white plays this way, black will capture this stone. It's a very short ladder here. So if white tries to escape, it's just going to be a ladder towards the edge of the board. So that was easy. Or if white connects on this side, black can capture this stone. So this is already a collapse for white. By playing this extension, black has already won the local position. White's continuation here is to play here and a hanging connection. So white's compensation for losing the local fight will be to get a living shape on the upper side. And this variation is the common joseki, in which case white does have some extra eye shape here, at least one eye at this point, and black has a solid shape towards the right side of the board. So it's another example of black's extension here being the move to play when there's a crosscut. Okay, now let's look at a crosscut in the middle of the board. One big difference here, when the crosscut is close to the edge of the board, one of the four stones is likely to die. When we have this crosscut in the center of the board, everything can survive, because the stones are so far away from the edge of the board that it's very difficult to chase them and confine them on the edge of the board. And because of this, it's very important to assume that the fight is going to continue for a while and to make good shape for yourself. So actually, the proverb that says that you should extend from a crosscut is extremely valuable in this fight in the center of the board. It's a kind of a golden rule. Best local move is definitely to extend from one of these four stones. And when black extends here, black is threatening to capture a white stone on a ladder. This white stone is in danger of being captured in a ladder. So white's best move is to extend from that stone. Now white is threatening to capture this black stone in a ladder. And again, black's best move is to extend from the ladder. And for the same reason, white's going to extend. And so we get this shape in a sequence of the best moves for both sides. It turns into a big fight in the center of the board, which is going to spread throughout the board actually. So some people actually like to start with this position, like to start the game with this position and fight it out. So if you like fighting in the center of the board, this is going to be a lot of fun. The important thing is that the proverb about extending from a crosscut, although you will see people play different moves close to the edge of the board, when it's in the center of the board, extending from the crosscut is the best move. And here I would like to show you one of the most common and one of the simplest exceptions to this rule. So this is going to be a case where you do not want to play the extension from the crosscut. It's when you can capture one of the white stones almost immediately. So in this case, black can play here and capture that white stone in the ladder. In this case, there's not so much to think about. You want to capture this white stone and take it off the board as quickly as possible. It's better than anything else you can think of. So in this case, you would not use the proverb. You would be playing this way, just to take that white stone off the board, and white will not have any forceful moves after that. So in this case, if black plays some kind of an extension, then again we would get a shape like this. It looks sort of similar on the right side maybe, but black does have a stone here that's sort of in a less than optimal point on the board. So it's a kind of an awkward place to have a black stone when white has broken through on the fourth line like that. So this is not usually the best way to continue. When you can immediately capture a stone like this, or capture it in a ladder, it's usually better to quickly capture it. So that would be the exception to the rule. So this was my video about extending from the crosscut. Again, you will see strong players playing different moves all the time, but I think it's important to repeat here strong players' ability to find various moves in this. Basically, it stems from their knowledge of this. This is a basic knowledge of how to win the local fight. The fact that they know this is what enables them to think about different things and have something to compare with when they have different diagrams to think about. I'm going to wrap up here, and thank you for watching. Sign up for more videos like this, and I'll see you next time.